I remember the day everything almost ended. Our family business, the company my grandfather had built from scratch, was on the verge of collapse. Bills stacked like mountains. Employees unpaid. Clients vanishing. And there I was, staring at the empty office, wondering if decades of legacy would dissolve overnight. I had spent years watching my parents fight, watching my brother lose hope, and feeling powerless. The bank had called for the final time, and I knew the end was near. But sometimes desperation breeds clarity. That night, I sat alone in the dim light of my home office, sketching ideas on scraps of paper. Lines, charts, software architecture diagrams. I wasn't a programmer by training, but I knew the problem. Travel agencies were trapped in outdated systems, losing clients, losing money. I thought, what if we could create a tool that didn't just manage bookings but predicted trends, automated tasks, and gave small agencies the same power as giants? The next morning, I pitched the idea to my family. Skepticism filled the room. My father shook his head. "This isn't the time for experiments," he said. My brother laughed nervously. "We barely have enough to pay rent, and you want to build software?" I didn't argue. I just started. Nights blurred into mornings. Weeks became months. Every line of code was a gamble, every feature a risk. But slowly the system took shape. I tested, failed, rebuilt, iterated. It wasn't perfect yet, but it worked. And for the first time in years, I felt hope stirring in my chest. The first client to take a chance on our software was a tiny, struggling agency in Florida. They had been on the verge of shutting down for months. I walked them through the platform personally, showing how it could track bookings, predict peak travel trends, and automate follow-ups. They were hesitant, of course, but when the first month ended, they called me in disbelief. Their profits had doubled. Just doubled. I felt a spark I hadn't felt in years. This wasn't just software. This was transformation. Word spread quickly. Small agencies across the country began reaching out, desperate for a lifeline. I stayed up nights answering calls, fixing bugs, customizing features. The software evolved with every interaction. And then came the turning point, the big agency in New York. They scoffed at us initially, but after seeing the success of smaller companies, they agreed to a trial. Within 6 weeks, their revenue jumped by 30%, and suddenly we weren't just a small family business. We were a solution people depended on. Yet the pressure was immense. Investors began circling, skeptical of a family-run company with no prior tech experience. Banks still doubted us. Competitors tried to copy us. But every setback became fuel. I documented every success, every metric, every story of a struggling agency that had survived because of us. This data became our shield and our sword, proving that innovation wasn't just possible, it was necessary. And all the while my family watched. Their doubt had turned into awe. My father, who once said we were doomed, now asked me for advice on every decision. My brother, who laughed at the beginning, became my closest collaborator. Together, we weren't just saving a company. We were rewriting our legacy. By the time we reached the end of the first year, our software had transformed not just our company, but the entire travel industry for small businesses. Agencies that had been on the brink of bankruptcy were thriving. News outlets began covering our story. The family that had been nearly wiped out by debt had somehow turned things around with nothing but determination and innovation. Investors who had once dismissed us now wanted a piece of our success. Offers came flooding in, but we stayed true to our vision. This wasn't about quick money, it was about building a tool that truly helped people, a tool that leveled the playing field. Every line of code, every late-night strategy session, every moment of doubt had led to this. And when we finally looked at the numbers, the total valuation of our company had soared to $400 million. From bankruptcy to industry leaders, we had done the impossible. But the most important victory wasn't financial. It was the restoration of our family's pride, unity, and belief in what we could achieve together. Sometimes, it takes losing everything to discover what you're truly capable of. That night, standing in the office we had almost lost, I realized this journey wasn't just about software, it was about resilience, vision, and refusing to give up.